Hello and welcome to 2024 North Cove Classic. My name is Rivas Marcons Craig. I'm here with JT Rhodes. I'm the tournament director and also one of the producers for Greatest Media Team who produced and filmed this coverage for you today. We're at one of the most beautiful courses called North Cove. If you've never seen it, you're going to see some amazing footage and some awesome coverage showing the Blue Hill Mountains of North Carolina, outside of Asheville, about 45 minutes north. We have a great lineup with Harper, Thompson, Damien Biegert, Diehl, and Josiah Barhite. These guys put on a show for us the first two rounds. They're going to be able to play a third round here. Before I get too excited, I'm going to say hello to JT Rhodes. How are you doing today?
Great, Rivas. Glad to be back on the mic with you. It's definitely an interesting spin at North Cove Classic. We got Harper Thompson there, Damien Biegert. Heck of a lead card showing up today. A lot of great golfers out there on World's Weekend.
Yes, I forgot it was World's Weekend. I know we would have had more folks attend, but next year we're gonna work on that. We'll make sure that everybody can make it. And rounding off the card, Diehl and Josiah Barhite. These guys got 10-20 rounds, 10-10 rounds for round two. Harper Thompson coming off a 10.51 average for the first two rounds. So he's absolutely tearing it up and has a 6-stroke lead. There you are, as the assistant kind of describing all the OB rules for the players. Before we get any further, can you give us a little more an update on what's happening at North Cove?
The whole McDowell County area was greatly affected by Hurricane Helene. If you can see some of the images, footage from the course here. We'll have our GoFundMe link posted here. We'll also be posting the link for McDowellPairs.org. If there's anything you guys can do to help the greater area of McDowell County and not just North Cove. We all definitely need it right now.
Absolutely. And I got to say, it's just so comforting to hear your voice and to hear from you and Kyle when I did after everything had happened. This was a devastating storm. There's a lot of lost lives. There's a lot of property damage. And seeing the community come together and hearing that you're still wanting to rebuild the course, it really brings a lot of hope. And if anybody wants to help out the efforts, make sure to check out that GoFundMe link. The description is in the link. So sorry, and our hearts and prayers are out to everybody that's been affected by the storm. With that said, why don't we take a look at one of the most beautiful holes on the course, hole 1. Give me your thoughts about this hole and why is it so difficult?
A great starting hole. It puts you right off to some of the great features that North Cove has to offer. The elevation, throwing down a hill to get started, and the players have got I'd say a light to medium wind today to get their round started. It's very hard to read out here at North Cove.
It's just such a beautiful starting hole. There's a hazard that people have to avoid, and they have to get over this cart path. And to have that with the hole 1 nerves that people do, it can get to you. I think it actually just got Harper there a little bit right there. But traditionally, you're going to see people throw mid-ranges. You can even see people throw forehands on the left-hand side because there's really no mando other than the right-hand side, I believe, right?
No real bando there. It's just too hard to get around those right side trees. There's actually some footage of Harper Thompson, I believe, throwing that right side line at the Ridge Championship.
Well, it's definitely grown out, and I'm okay with that. I think that brings a little bit more challenge, which is we want to see at this North Cove Classic. We want to bring this tournament and bring it back and turn it into an A tier eventually. And I was so happy to be able to be a tournament director for it, so I appreciate you guys asking me.
Here's a look at the lefty backhand line there for Barhite.
What a beautiful shot there. You don't see a lot of lefties playing this type of course, and just to air it out, he's going to be shooting basically 2 discs, and that's one of them. That was his Thunderbird. All right, here's the correction from Harper. Let's see if he can land past the car path, and he does. That was a great shot by him, but he's going to have a tricky putt for his 4th shot. So he better make it, or he's going to be looking at a double bogey.
Yeah, he did call provisional there, and his first shot did wind up not making it out of the OB brush at the bottom of the tee pad.
And David Diehl, that would have been so cool to jump off the rocks and get in there. Would have loved to seen that. Harper doing his routine where he kind of slaps the discs and checks out the wind with this chalk at the same time, kind of like what LeBron does out there. Gotta love it. These 1025, these 1030 rated players with their routine. If it works, it works, and I love to see it.
Off the band there. That's going to sit down.
All right, let's see what Josiah's putting stroke looks like. Is this for his birdie? I think it was. Wow, I can't believe his disc landed that close. That was a really good drive.
Barhite's got maybe some nerve, first time on camera for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was telling me that never been on camera, never really been in a huge tournament like this, and he played so well. I was glad to see that he kind of made it onto the lead card after being the last person to sign up for the tournament.
Yeah, good on him. This course, I'd say, suited him pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a very slow drone preview of hole 2, 400 feet. The hardest hole on the course, averaging 4.04. I don't know. Do you think this is the hardest hole on the course, JT?
Hair over par, yeah. That's interesting to hear. Really trying to go for the green on this one can get you in trouble. It's a very specific shape.
I do like the forehand play too, because I mean, this is just to be safe, just to get on that inland. As a TD, I did create some OB line on the right-hand side that followed the rocks. So it's very easy to go out of bounds if you just give it too much or if the wind picks it up. So we wanted to give it that pro caliber feel. We wanted to give it that, what the Blue Ridge Mountain Championship was going for. I wanted to bring back some of those holes that had out of bounds and had some of the difficulty, as well as drop zones. I believe we added a drop zone last minute on this hole as well.
Yeah, we did. And I think it's definitely a drop zone hole. You can see the dangers of that turnover shot as you catch David Diehl out the back.
That's a mile.
Through at 500.
David Diehl might be the furthest throwing veteran and MP40 person I know. Look at this shot by Harper Thompson, though, like going over everything. What a beautiful shot. I believe that was his FX1. Yeah.
Good tee shot after that mishap on hole 1.
Yeah, you need that confidence boost. And he's probably like 65. You can see David Diehl is throwing from the drop zone, and it's no gimme. We wanted to make sure that if you went out of bounds, you were not just going to take a 90-foot drop zone. Unfortunately, Josiah played really fast, and we missed that approach, but you saw the tail end there, and he missed the putt. He actually just was off the cage there. Here is Harper for his birdie. Bounces off the cage and rolls OB behind the basket and into the water, I believe. That is crazy. This is a very difficult green, and now I can see why it averaged 4.04.
Still left this up shot a little short there. Not going to convert to par. Biegert here. Cleans up. Our leader, Harper Thompson here, finds his fifth and speeds it up.
+3 through 2 holes. Not the start you were looking for, but North Cove can do that. I mean, it can keep you on edge, especially the front nine. I think the front nine is a little more difficult than the back nine. And here is another hole that you can perform really well, but you have to land in the perfect spot because it's a 2-shot approach. You can see on the drone footage as well as in the graphic that the safe area is really where the drone is right now, and anything that is going past this cart path is actually out of bounds, and then you have to land into this island, and everything outside of that is hazard. This is a wild design. It had to have been Harold Duvall, right?
No, this is the younger Duval. This is Andrew Doobie's doing. Right?
There we go. Okay.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, well, it's a great design. I actually, first time I played it, my mind was blown because I don't play holes like this. I think it, you're thinking, wow, I just need to smash something over the cart path and land to the left, but it's actually the opposite. And when you learn the rules and you look at the caddy book, it really makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Definitely does. There's 2 drop zones on this hole. A missed 2 shot to drop zone 1. Then missing the bunker will take you to drop zone 2 for about a 70-foot putt.
I love it. I think more courses should actually have designs like this because it creates separation. It creates a little bit of anxiety on the player and difficulty. I believe compared to the first 2 holes, this average actually pretty high as well. This average 4.17.
A little split there from Damien. That's another thing about that hole. If you wind up in that ditch, it comes up short. It'll be a drop zone 2.
Yeah, it's very deceiving, this length here. What have you ever radared it? Do you know exactly what it is from that ditch?
I want to say it's about 240, 250, just under 300.
David Diehl, and he's making it into that bunker. I love it. Great play by him there. And he kind of needs it. He also started off a little bit slow with the first 2 holes. He got a bogey on the first hole, and then he got a bogey on the second hole as well. Here's Harper bringing it into the island as well. Great throw there. He's having a good season. He really surprised me because I didn't know who he was. I know a lot of the pro players, and watching him was a treat. I really like his composure and his attitude out there.
Had a great end of the season. He's won a couple 8 years prior to this event, and actually got to see him play a few holes at USDGC. Saw this guy go long on hole 3 with the roller and save his par.
Wow, that's amazing. And he also was on coverage for the Blue Ridge Championship, I believe.
Correct. That's correct. When it was a Pro Tour event, Silver Series.
He's no stranger to this course, and he loves to attack it, it looks like, which, it's hard to think of attacking this very difficult layout here. This is one of my favorite holes. JT, tell us a little bit more.
Not too far away, hole 4, but very deep up this gap up into the woods here. Going mid-range, maybe fairway, something understable, something that's going to turn against that hill a little bit.
It's surprising that you say maybe mid-range. I mean, I'm throwing a fairway, maybe even a distance driver. It's a very difficult angle in terms of the steepness and then the elevation that you have to ride. And Harper pretty much does it. He may be on like circle 2. I can't exactly tell from that angle.
You don't want there. Right side, it's easy to do on this one.
Yep, agreed. It's a strange window, but it's a good hole. Oh, he nailed it. That was perfect. Okay, sweet. We get to see a form review here. Puts a lot of snap on it.
That's a pretty compact overall with the form. I do like it.
And that was his Firebird. He throws that so well. And Josiah leaning on that Thunderbird, getting a nick, unfortunately. So he's going to be pretty close to David Diehl on the left here. Diehl not liking his spot. As I mentioned earlier, he is an MP40 player. And it was funny because when he was telling me that he signed up for this tournament, he was hoping to have more people sign up for MP40. We didn't have that many. I think there was one or two, but he said, I think they were all scared as soon as they saw my name.
Common around the western North Carolina, Tennessee area.
I'd be nervous against to play against Harper Thompson after seeing that putt. It's so hard to putt uphill. I don't know how he did that so effortlessly.
A great step putt.
All right. Well, a little bounce back for Harper. You know, he kind of needed it. He was 3 over through the first 2 holes, and now he just got 2 back. So now he's back to +1.
Yeah, he started off with bogeys like that, and you just got to come back with a vengeance. You got to clean him up.
Now it's back to 6. Forgot he was parred. Jeez, that made it too easy for him. Hole 5, one of my favorite holes. I added OB to the right of those rocks. There's going to be you can't really see it, but if you just imagine a line going up that fairway, lining up those rocks, and to the left side, it's the same thing. So really the landing area is where the drone is, kind of here, but more left. And then you're going to have a second approach shot about 290, 310 feet or so that will just be approaching an epic green, one of my favorite greens on the course because it's got a hillside on the back, but it also somehow the wind always picks up on this hole. I don't get it.
Oh, this one, the walnut grove. Lots of walnut trees around that green. Really nice.
Really set up beautifully, and it's not an easy tee shot. You have to commit to this hyzer, which Harper does beautifully, and make sure that it comes back. Oh, wow. Hold up. Damien's taking the way wide hyzer.
He's going super wide.
Wow. He has an arm. That was his DD3.
Can't say I've seen that before.
Yeah. And Josiah landing OB, unfortunately, didn't commit and didn't come back. David Diehl bombing one, but I don't even know if that's coming back either. This is such a weird hole because you can't tell where things go OB either sometimes.
Yeah, those mounds kind of block your sight from seeing the OB line about 400 feet away.
I like this approach by Josiah, though. I mean, riding it the whole way, and I think he's got like a circle 2 putt there. That was impressive.
And I will say, sure, why not? I mean, nobody can tell, so.
Uh-oh, here comes the gang. I think they're shaking their head because they can't tell exactly where people might have crossed in. I'm not sure who's up right now.
Diehl went, yeah. It looks like Damien's lie, huh?
Yeah, it looks like Damien is up, but they might have been discussing Diehl because they saw Diehl's in the distance or something, and they figured talk about it now. But here we go. Damien committing to another hyzer. Oh, perfectly played, but might be a little short.
But he was out of speed and it sat on that hillside for him.
Yeah. And shout out to Grant, Latin, and you for helping us with the catch cam. on this beautiful fine day at North Cove. Catch cam adds a lot of flavor to the production, so we really appreciate it. Harper had a really good drive, and I believe that was his mid-range that he threw that with, and now he's approaching with the mid-range. I mean, that is pretty awesome to be able to do that. So this will average 4.25. Would you have thought it would have averaged maybe higher, harder?
Pretty fair for this hole. The tree can be really tough on this one. See, Harper was wind whipping there.
A rare miss for Harper. It looks like he's been a really good, solid putter the whole tournament. I mean, minus 13 on the short layout river run is no joke. And here's Damien for his birdie, I believe. Great birdie. Made that hole look really easy. And there it is. Hole 6. Tell us a little more about this little shorty, this must get.
Looks like an enticing ace run from the tee, and it definitely is. Mounded up here, island green. Really tough to not go OB if you go off that backside.
Yeah, and that little bunny hill adds a lot of difficulty in terms of the putting, rolls, angles. It's just a really good setup and something that I would envision seeing more in Europe and like Finland or, you know, Tempera course. And I really love that you guys have that.
I've heard that from quite a few folks that have some European feels on the course out there.
Nice shot by Harper. The catch cam really shows you that it didn't go too far after that hillside, and that hillside has a little bit of room to play with. We tried to make sure that the OB wasn't too far, but also wasn't too close. One of the gripes that I have as a tournament director and as a player is when, you know, there may have to be OB within a circle 1 area. I really want to be able to have OB in the circle 2, never really anything closer than that. That was a great play by Josiah there. Looks like he got up there as well. Taking a lefty route. Never seen that done.
Fun to watch lefties play out there. Do some things you definitely won't think of.
What's your favorite hole out there on the front 9?
I have to say the next one, I believe.
Okay.
Probably 7. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to get to it. Probably hole 1, hole 2, hole 6. They're all such good holes, honestly. You and Kyle and the rest of the crew have built something magnificent over here. And if you never got to experience, I hope that you get to experience it when it reopens and when we have a grand reopening. And we'll make sure that Greatest Media team is there because we want to make sure that we help and support you guys.
100%. You guys will be there.
So hole 6, let's take a look at the average. This hole average 3.17. Wow, I would have thought that it would average a lot easier than that. All right, hole 7. Since it's your favorite hole, give us more information about it, JT.
My favorite hole on the property. It's really not a great spot to land there. You just want to aim for the mouth there and hope you get a decent enough lie and then pick your way to the back here. Really tough green. Challenging hole. Yeah,
I really like the woods part. I love airing it out off the tee. I love the fact that you see bears on this hole. There's just so much to this hole. Looks like Harper misreleases a little bit, but gets a little bit away with it on the left-hand side. Maybe takes birdie out of the question. Who knows? You got to be in perfect spot, though, I feel like, oh my gosh, that was going to be in the perfect spot.
That's the shape that you usually see on that hole.
Damien with the blast. My goodness. He's got a weapon of a forehand.
Have that rock to deal with on the second shot. Should be a decent lie. Josiah trying to go bigger.
Bigger and badder. Look at this shot. Oh my goodness.
To get around that tree in the middle there.
What's the furthest you've ever gotten? Have you gotten up to the rock past this big boulder here?
Getting past that boulder seems impossible to me. I mean, you can have great shots and land short of that boulder and still be in the ditch.
Mm-hmm. Diehl showing his versatility again with the forehand there. That was a great out by Harper, too, from where he was. I feel like he was the most left and most cut off. And to be in the center and have a look is really awesome.
Maybe a little sharp from Damien, but he gets up there.
Yeah, that was a clutch play by Damien. Just to have a look of 3, it's not something that I usually even dream of on this one. I'm happy with a 4.
4 forehand approaches, and it looks like everyone's relatively close to the green.
I would have thought that this hole would have averaged harder. It averaged 4.13.
Harper hopeful for that putt to sit after that miss.
Yeah, the rollaways can be pretty daunting on this one. And look at that, the birdie stat. That was a really good putt. That was a great birdie.
Great putt there from Damien, slightly out of position on the upshot, but made it work.
This green is also really pretty. I think it's one of the rockiest greens that you have, I think.
I feel like this is a green that might remind you of Maple Hill, Ravis.
Definitely reminds me of New England. That's for sure. So Damien getting the lone birdie, everybody else settling for par, which isn't bad for that hole. That averaged 4.17. Here is hole 8. Big sweeping anhyzer or forehand if you have it. Out of bounds past the cart path on the left, way past there. Doesn't really come into play that often. Meanwhile, we also added OB to the right here, where the rocks are kind of lining up that right-hand side. And that does come into play a lot, especially off the tee and on your second shot it can if you're not in the right place. And you can see this approach to this particular green is very difficult. It's a dogleg to the left and one of the hardest holes in terms of approaches because of the slope green as well. It's a really cool hole, and when you get a birdie on this one, it feels very rewarding.
Great. Damien just kind of going with the standard fairway play, going to put himself at the bottom of the hill. Harper looks like maybe he's trying to bite off a little bit more than that. The nice and turned over.
I like Harper's play. He really put a lot into that one and a flippy disc. And Damien going roller. Excuse me, David going roller here. Wow. That was close.
God, not bad at all for the roller. It's a decent distance.
It's a really good play with the roller. Josiah's definitely got the lefty shot in him to do this. Left it short compared to the other guys, which is surprising because sometimes you think that Josiah was outthrowing these guys the way that he does. He's showing his forehand.
Cool.
Tough break there, but that's what we call an iron branch. And another reason I like this hole is because you can't really see the green. You could be in a great area and you still can't see it, and that brings a kind of a mystique feel to this hole, which I like.
Yeah, you can get a little further right over there where Diehl and Harper are throwing from. You can almost see it.
Yeah, I feel like Harper saw it where he was. He must have seen it because that was a great throw. And this hole averaged 3.92. Actually, one of the easiest holes of the day so far. I would have never guessed that this hole would have been one of the easier ones. I mean, just look at this green.
Wouldn't tell you it averaged under par.
Wow.
There's some OB down there. I don't think he found it.
No, but he was not too far off it. It's funny because I had to walk that OB and create that OB. Great putt there.
Wow.
Well done. Great save.
No easy putt. The bushes down there. You and I both know it's thick down there.
Very thick, and it feels like you're in the jungle, like 10 times worse than anything else that you played here on the course. And great putt by Josiah too. This raised basket, it adds a lot of nerves, and they're handling it very, very well. David Diehl getting a birdie, I believe. Oh, a rare miss by Harper.
It missed. There's a lot of greens. Maybe it was a little high, but
Yeah, that's a tough miss to see because he's been playing so well. And here's hole 9, 657 feet. Tell us a little more about this one, JT.
pretty wide open fairway off the tee. A lot of the touch comes on the second shot here. Taking one on this last mound right here can be very tough. Deep roll away behind the basket. Pretty typical of a lot of the other greens out here.
Yeah, I think I did a count, and it was like over 10 baskets that have some sort of dangerous green or some sort of element. That was a great job by David Diehl. There is OB on the left side, so he's going to be very close to that. You can see that he doesn't know. He thinks he actually out of bounds. He didn't love it in terms of the reaction he had. But this was a crush. I want to say this was almost 500.
He definitely wanted to turn that one a little more, but I think he'll make it work.
And here we go with Damien forehand. Getting in a really good spot. There is OB to the right too. So again, when it comes to danger, it's everywhere on this course. And this averaged 4.38 because of it.
Mid-range there for Harper.
That was a mid-range, yep. Insane.
Going through the same play. I am flirting with the edge. That should fit great.
Mm-hmm. And fun fact, when I was setting up the OB flags for this the night before, or excuse me, the 2 nights before, I saw a bear come out right on this hole, and he looked at me. I swear he looked at me, he gave me a wink, and he turned right back around.
They're out there. Early mornings out there. You'll see them.
Yeah, it was dusk. It was really cool. Oh my goodness, Harper almost throws that in. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he meant to land it a little short, but maybe he got very excited there. And he's going to have a very difficult approach, though.
All over it, but he's at the bottom of the hill now.
Oh my gosh, is that OB? I think that is OB.
Josiah just got lucky there. I don't know.
I think they eventually called him out because even though it looked like he was on a patch of grass, it looked like everything else was pretty surrounded by road. This hole can bring so much danger. It's actually one of the more difficult ones that you guys got to play.
Really tough approach. Well, you're on the tee looking at this one. You're not thinking too much of it, but the approach is the tough one.
Definitely wanted that one. And Josiah coming up short. It's tough to commit to that one too, because if you go over, that's a bogey and a half. So this is hole 9. That wraps up the front 9 coverage. We appreciate everybody watching. It's been a pretty close battle. Not too much swaying right now. It looks like Harper's still holding pretty strongly with 6 strokes. You got David Diehl with 8 strokes behind, and then we have some other newcomers here. You can see Ben Dutton, Lucas McPherson, and then Josiah at minus 14. So he's going to have a little bit of work to come back. But what you think of that coverage, JT? Let me know before we get into this back 9.
Pace car's really got something to say about it. It's like Harper's comfortable with the lead at this point, but there's some spots to be decided.
Absolutely. This course, a lot of action left. The back 9 gets really lengthy. Some epic shots, even more beautiful than what you see here. And again, thank you for staying tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate you being here, JT. See you in the back 9.
See you there.